Hello, Programming 12. We are going to continue on with our map. Hopefully you've had success in creating your own cool looking map. Mine's looking like this, and it's got some good twists and turns and fun things to put in there. So now we have to start getting ready to put in the little monsters or mobs that we're going to call them that are going to kind of travel along this path and get to the end. And I think the way we're going to do that is by making a class that will represent sort of like a sign that will tell a mob which direction to go when it collides with it. And we're going to place these sort of at the endpoints of the line. So they'll put a node, or we're going to call it a node. We'll put a node here and here and here and here, and they'll just tell it to turn left, turn right, or go up or go down. Basically, it'll just have like a direction for the mob to copy. So for example, the node that's going to go here, because the mobs are coming this way, it will have a sign that will say go up. And the node that goes here will have a sign that says go to the right, and so on. So that's going to be our goal. So we're going to make the node class, and I'll just get started. We'll go over to the node tab, which is already ready to go. And for a node, it's not going to be too fancy. We're going to have a few places, or a few variables we have to remember. We have to remember an X and a Y. And actually, I can't remember these. Maybe they should just be ints. I think I'll just make them ints. And then, I'm going to make them floats, just because, at some point, that might be useful. And then I want also a direction variables to say, like, what direction to go. And so I'm going to call it dx and dy. It's going to represent sort of, if you want to go up, for example, then dx is going to be 0, and dy will be a negative number. That corresponds to an upwards direction. If you wanted to say, it's going to go down, then dy would be a positive number, but still dx is 0 because there's no movement in the x-axis when you're going down. See what I mean? That's basically going to be the way we'll describe the direction that the mob should go in when it collides. So it'll remember this direction. We're going to make a constructor. It's going to be node. And we'll take in these parameters. This will be sort of its location. Oops. And float dx, float dy. It's going to be just like one of those constructors where it doesn't really do anything but just copy the parameters. So just obeys whatever the person says. So nothing fancy here. We've made a lot of constructors like this by now, hey? Okay. Oops, and I had a typo up here. I'll go and change that. There we go. All right. So there's a constructor, and now what do we do with it? Honestly, nothing. It's just really going to sit there. It is a piece of data more than anything. So yeah. I know, it seems weird, though, to not put any behavior functions in there. To be honest, the interesting aspect of these nodes is going to be it's going to be in the collision that will be coded in the mob. That'll be the most interesting thing. What I think I'll do, though, is just put a show function just so we can see that it's in the right place. I think that will be helpful. So I'll put a void show function. And maybe we'll illustrate the dx and dy sort of concept just to make sure it's visible. So we can see if we did it correct. Ultimately, though, I want these to hide. I don't actually want to call the show function in the end. But it's good to have a debugging, function just to make sure we're doing it correctly. So let's put a show function. Let's put a circle. I will fill with pink, I guess. And I will draw a circle at x, y. And I'll make it, 30. This is, again, not going to show up, so we don't have to work too hard on it. And then I'm going to draw a line from x and y to dx and dy plus x and plus y. But, this is probably going to be like 1 or 2 or 5 or something. It's going to be pretty small. So I'm going to times this by, 50. That seems even maybe a bit big, but that's okay. I just want to be able to see this line show up. So I'm going to stroke with pink as well. Actually, we'll just put all at the top. Fill pink, stroke pink, circle, line. Yeah, and then semicolon. So there you go. There's our node. Again, our node is really not meant to be shown, but I want to debug it. Really what it's going to be is just like a little signpost for our mobs to collide with and then take the directional information and change their direction. So let's go and make some nodes and just plot them out onto our map and make sure it's working okay. I would like to make an array of nodes because I don't want to live in a world where I have to make a bunch of different node variables. So where would be a good place to put that? I think that I have in my collection of objects is right here in my global variable space, just at the top here. So I'll put in a node array called nodes. And how many nodes do I need? I could take a look, I suppose. If I run it, I can count it. I'll just count the corners. I won't count the first one as a node. I don't know if that's a mistake or not yet, but I think it's fine. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, I'm not going to count the last one either. So I'm going to call that 8 nodes. And initialize variables here. Create collections of objects. So in the initialize variables function, I'm going to make nodes equals new node array with 8 nodes. Okay. And then what I can do is just start, I actually have a make nodes. Actually, I have a make nodes. Interesting. Maybe I should put that there, hey? Let's get rid of this and move it down to make nodes. All right. So here's my make nodes. It's going to be an array of 8. So I'll just say nodes sub 0 equals new node. And, node sub 1 equals new node, and so on all the way down to, node sub 7. That'll be my last one. Bunch of nodes. That'll be node sub 7. All the way down. That'll be all 8 of my nodes. But what information do I put in here? So the information I need to put in here is where the node is, and also what direction do I want the mobs to turn in when they hit this node. So I'll have to comment this out for a second, and then run this, and just kind of do a little bit of analysis. So for example, here's the first node, and you might wonder, well, what are those coordinates? We can actually just steal that from the line. If you go to the play and the draw map, the first line goes from here to here. These are the coordinates of the end point of the line. So that's going to be my location for the first node. So I'll copy that over, and we'll paste it in here. And then what's the direction I want them to go in? So when they hit that node, I want them to go up. So that's going to be dx is 0, dy is a negative number. Oh, darn. I've gone to the wrong project. Here we go. So dx is 0 and dy is negative 1. Okay. Looks okay. So now what I can do is, I don't want to manually draw these. I guess I just will. I don't know. You can decide if you want to make a loop. The thing is, they're not created yet, so I don't really want to just have to manually make them all and then show them one at a time. But I guess I will. So in my map, I think I'll just in the draw map. I guess I'll just put some temporary nodes. Temporarily. I don't know how to spell temporarily. I go temporarily avoid it. Temporary node drawing space. And what I'll do is I'll just say node sub 0 dot show. Let's just see if it worked. Or nodes, I guess it is. Let's just see if it worked. So I start, and sure enough, there's my node, and it's pointing up. So I got it right. And then let's go make all the other nodes, and hopefully it'll work out. So I'm going to pause now. I'm going to go code those up, and then I'll show you what it'll look like in the end, and hopefully that'll be clear. Okay, just one moment. All right, welcome back. I have been hard at work, and I have made my nodes. Here's all 8 of my nodes ready to go. I've just plotted the coordinates out based on the line functions and figured out their directions based on my eyes. And I will now go over to the play function. So inside of my draw map, I'm just drawing our nodes. So I just decided to make a loop because at that point it's faster to make the loop. It just goes from 0 to 8. and it just shows each node and goes on to the next node. So I can confirm it is set up correctly by running it. I think I can run it. Here we go. Yeah, there's it is. And then I can look at my nodes and we can see like, oh yeah, there's the first node. It's in the right spot. It's pointing the right direction. And you can sort of follow it along and see if it works. Okay, so there you go. That's making some nodes. I'm going to, the nodes don't do much right now, but then the next video, we're going to make mobs. Those are going to be the little monsters that come along. And we're going to do some collision code. We're going to call back our knowledge from programming 11 about circles colliding with each other. And then we are going to get those mobs to pay attention to the nodes and follow the directions that they give. Okay, so that's going to be in the next video. Thank you so much, everybody.